Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card. It's a fancy fold and it is called a double pop-up card. Okay, so you open it and it's got like little windows or little doors there. This was requested by one of my subscribers by the name of Anne, so this one's specially for you, Anne. That was my before video card. This was my first proper card. Okay, now I love this. I would have done this for the video, but there was just too much painting and all of that to do. And one mistake I made with this one was when I cut the card base, which was 5 3/4 inches tall, and I put it down to cut the rest of the pieces out. When I picked it up, I picked up the other piece, which is longer, so this one is actually 6 inches long, but it does also mean that these doors don't actually close, whereas these do. Okay, in fact these two actually overlap very slightly, but that's okay, it's not an issue. The only thing about this card is you can't stand it up to display it, but it would sit on your shelf very nicely like that if you just had something to support that, so you could see the doors and this. I think that would look really nice. The cardstock that I've used here is a retired Stampin' Up cardstock from about 8-10 years ago. It's got a little speckle in it, which I thought was really nice. But as you know, on my test cards I do tend to do that. Now this is a card that Anne actually requested from HOSTESS, and I found that those bits don't close very nicely, which is why I have cut my doors down, doors and windows. These actually overlap almost completely, whereas mine, I've done it so it's joining up at the centre. This is HOSTESS size, which as you can see is a fair bit smaller than the A4 cardstock size, which is what we call A6. I'm going to give you the measurements for today's card in inches for A4 cardstock users. I'm going to be doing this card again with the correct width on there. I'm going to change the colour scheme though. I will put the measurements in inches in the box below together with the metric for A4 cardstock users, as well as I hope to be able to work out the inches for A2 cardstock, letter size cardstock users who do an A2 card. Okay, I don't see any reason why I can't work that out for you, so I hope I don't let you down. Right, now before I tell you the card, all the sizes and everything, first of all, when you're cutting up this paper, keep your little bits and pieces, because you need some little triangles to fit in here, and I don't have actual measurements for you, but I will show you how I actually do this. Now I have scraps here for my 2 sentiments, one and a layer on both of those, so you need scraps for those. I have a card base which is in fresh Freesia, which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8 inches. Then I have 2 pieces of fresh Freesia which are for the mechanism, and these measure 1 1/8 inches by 4 7/8 inches. And then the 2 doors, these measure 2 1/8 inches by 3 1/4 inches. And then I'm going on to what I'm calling design 1, and this is the background design, if you like. So you need 2 pieces which measure 5 1/2 inches by 3 7/8 inches. Now if you're doing a directional design like I am, the arrow on here design tells you which direction or pattern's got to be going in. Okay, so 5 1/2 inches by 3 7/8 inches, and then the piece that's going in between the 2 doors measures 3 7/8 inches by 4 inches. Yep, that's right. And then for the doors you need 4 pieces, because we do back and front, and these should measure 1 7/8 inches by 3 inches. Then we're going on to design 2, and this is going to be layered onto those. And these should measure 1 3/4 inches by 2 7/8 inches. Again, 4 pieces of those. And then these are the pillars, these pieces down here. That looks a bit short. It does look short. What have you done? Is that 3 1/8? Yep. I don't think that's right. Let me double check this. The pillars, oh, that should be 3 7/8. I can't read my own writing. Okay, let me just correct this. So that should be 3 7/8. You want 2 of those. Have I got any that are 3 7/8? I doubt it. No, if I cut one wrong, I've probably cut them all wrong. So let me just very quickly do that. And I need that with the design going across way. Oh, I'm glad I left these pieces here. Is that 3 7/8? Yes, that's okay. So I'll do 1/2 inch, wasn't that I said? 1/2 inch by 2, 3 7/8. Pillars, where are you? 1/2 inch by 3 7/8. There we go. Get that one out of the way. Just make sure I've got the right length now. There we go, 3 7/8. Okay, so that is all the pieces that we need. I have stamped all my flowers and die cut them ahead of time, but I haven't done the 2 sentiments. I will be doing that with you. Okay, so take that off of there, put that onto there. Right, what we're going to do first is we are going to work on our mechanisms. So what we need to do is, now I'm using my scoring board because I find this easier. And you need to score these at 3/4 of an inch on the portrait side. Whoops. Now when you're working on these, you need one piece where you've got the wide side on your left hand side and one piece where you've got the wide piece on your right hand side. Okay, now I'm going to keep my board handy. You can do this with your trimmer, it's just that I do find it easier with my scoreboard. Now what you need to do is on this wide side you need to measure at 1 1/2 inches. I'm going to turn this upside down so that I can get it closer to me, so I can make sure that I am actually not in the picture. There we go. So that I do know my cardstock is actually at the end there. Okay, so I'm going to make a mark here at 1 1/2 inches. Then I'm going to come up over to the score line and I am going to measure that at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so now I've done that one, so I've got my wide side on this outside piece. I'm going to keep this wide one on this side. So I'm going to bring my ruler up here and I'm going to measure at 3/4 of an inch on the score line, which is there, and then on the wide piece I'm going to mark that at 1 1/2 inches. Okay, so that's there. Now it would be useful if I had my little ruler here. As you see, I do get myself in a bit of a pickle when I'm trying to sort out. In fact, that's even longer because that's a 14-inch ruler. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to join your two pencil marks. So you've got that one and you've got that one there. Now you will be erasing these marks. So that's there, to there. Okay. And then what you're going to do, you're going to use your ruler to draw from that point through that 3/4 of an inch mark down to the edge. So I'm lining up there. Make sure I'm lined up there. And then draw across. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same on this one. Make sure I've still got... I turned one upside down and not the other one, didn't I? Right, let's do that again. It's important that you do have them different directions, otherwise your doors will be opening in the same direction. So let me try that again. It's all very well turning one upside down, but if you do that, you need to do both of them. So on the outside of the wide bit, I'm marking at 1.5 inches. And then on the by the score line at 3/4 of an inch. Which is there. Okay, so now I'm going to have both of mine on opposite sides. So let me do that again. So we're going to line up that pencil mark with that pencil mark. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to join that point with that, and then I'm going to come over to the edge. Come down a bit, I can't see whether I'm going to the corner or not. Oh, that's it. Okay, that's what it should be, opposites. So now what we need to do is that one there and that one there. That's on the small side. Let me throw this over so you can see. Okay, so that's on the small side, and that one's on the small side as well. And you need to cut that little bit off. When I'm cutting this off, this is the rubbish side, so when I cut down here, I'm cutting on the left-hand side of that score line, so I cut it right off. I'm only going down to that mark there, and then I'm going to cut this off. Okay, I'm going to do the same to this one. Doesn't really matter which way round you do it, as long as when you cut these off, cut the score line off as well. There we go, that's good. Now before we erase those pencil marks, we need to score those lines. Now I'm using my scoreboard. If you've got something like a piercing mat that you could do this on with your ruler, by all means, but it's so easy if you have a scoreboard that I'm just scoring on that one, and then I'm going to score on this one. This red line that I've drawn on my scoreboard is just so useful for little jobs like this. Okay, now this one. Again, you can line this up on your trimmer if you like. Now that, I think, is all we need this for. So we're going to use our bone folder to get some nice score lines here. So first of all this one, and that should line up straight across the edge there. Mine is very slightly out, so I'm going to push it back into position and let my bone folder make that line behave itself. Now this one should come over as a right angle. That's not quite straight either, so move that into correct position and get a bone folder to do the work for you. There we go. So that's perfect. I'm going to do the pencil marks in a jiffy. So first of all I'm going to do this one. And just make that go straight again. And then this one. That should form a right angle. You see I'm lining this up on my grid paper. There we go. So we've got that, that and that. I don't think I did that one, did I? So I'm going to remove the pencil marks. This is going to be more or less hidden, so if some of the pencil marks are still seen, it's not the end of the world. There we go. Right, okay. So what we need now is to fix these into our card. What we're going to do is we are going to put glue on the back of that one so that it goes in there. In fact, approximately like that, so that this is going to fold over, and once it's adhered in there, I like mine to go close up to the edge but just a tad inside. I'll glue it and then no, I'll show you now if I can, if it doesn't keep moving. Show you the kind of gap that I like to leave right on the edge there. It really is a tad. There we go. Okay. Rather than having it hanging over the edge, I like to just take it back that little bit. And then let me remind myself how we do this. Which way? Oh, that's right. Okay, so this has got to fold back this way. And then don't let this piece come over the edge. If it does, because it doesn't agree with this, then trim it off from the edge there. So first of all, I'm going to put some Tombow on this. I have seen some fancy fold cards which have different mechanisms on, and some of them are just so involved that I give up on the card, to be honest with you. I think some are so involved that it actually takes the pleasure away from making the cards. Now that strip there is twice the width of this one, so whatever that width is, you've got to leave that gap there. That is just as a guideline for you, okay, because you're going to pop that down there, look at that straight, and then make sure that that is over. Now because you're using Tombow, you've got time to make sure that that's not coming off the bottom there, and it's going right to the edge there. Yep, that's good. Okay, see if that agrees with what I showed you a few moments ago. Okay, so that's my little edge. In fact, that might be a bit bigger, is it? Maybe I'm just looking at it differently. Okay, so there's that one. We're going to do this one now. going to pop that down so the gap looks about the same width as the strip that I've just put my glue on. Now, whoops, I got distracted there by the lid of Tombow. Let's move this over. Make sure it's, oh no, you don't want that bit down the end. This is the bit you need. In fact, I'm going to put some more Tombow in that because that's sticking too quickly for me. Right, let's try that again. Right, first of all, leave your gap. Make sure it fits at the bottom. That's it. I turn it over to make sure it's lining up properly. Slide it down. Yes, that's good. A little tad over. Yes, that's good. And of course now I've got glue there. Oh, that might let me get that off with my eraser. Be very, very careful when you try removing Tombow if it isn't completely dry. Many a time I've actually torn my cardstock because I've been impatient. Right, now with these, folded like that, fold these back. If they're sticking over the edge, trim them now. Mine's sticking over just a little bit, so I'm going to trim my bit off. Oops, cut my card. Silly Billy. Oh, that's okay. Nobody will know. Don't tell anybody. Right, see that one? Right, might be a better idea just to trim it from here. Okay, it's a lot safer. Yeah, that's much better. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to put glue on that little triangle there on both of these. And then we're going to close that down. And give Tombow a chance to get to grips with that. Now what you should find is when that opens up, your mechanism should work. Okay, so that's brilliant. Works absolutely superbly. Now that's got glue on it as well, but I'm going to put paper on that anyway. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start adhering our layers. So first of all I'm going to do this one. So there's rather a lot of gluing for me to do because I couldn't get this done ahead of time. You know, sometimes I get my layers done if I think I'm heading towards a long video, but the only bit I could have done were the doors, and I was planning on doing it, but then I thought, I know me, I'll go ahead, do both of them, stick them both on both sides, and then I'm in trouble because I can't actually get the bits on. You'll see what I mean once I get there. But that's one of that's a smaller piece. One of these is going on the front. I'm not going to do the other one inside just yet. If we do this one. This is a very easy card to make. The mechanism, which I think is very, very clever, is probably the only challenge that you have. Now this should have a much smaller gap on it than the red card. That red, by the way, was Sweet Sorbet, one of our new ink colours. Okay, so there's that. That one can wait. That's stamping, that's stamping. And let's do the doors next. Right, so the doors are going to be coming, it's going to fall short of that score line there. Okay. I have changed my measurements to HOSTESS card, which included doing those little triangle bits slightly different as well. Unfortunately, she didn't actually give the sizes. So once you've got this bit laying flat, just glue from, that's where the point of the fold is, where my fingernail is. Okay, so you can see I've left quite a bit there without glue on it. But what I'm going to do is just touch that down. I've got a little bit on it. And then I'm making sure that this covers that bit up. And also there's room there so that that will close. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other one as well. Again, below the score line there. Let's just put a little bit on there. That was the wrong side, turn it up the other way. Okay, so I'm making sure I've covered up the fold there, and I'm coming down to the edge there as well. So I'll show you how much gap there is between the end of that score line. Okay, it must be, I don't know, less than 1/8 of an inch, I imagine. So now we can put our paper on our doors. What happened to the others? Here we go. So I'm going to pop these on. While I'm doing this, just to tell you that this is the weekend we're celebrating Queen Elizabeth II's 70th year as our monarch, and honestly the atmosphere over here is absolutely superb. She is very, very well loved. She is a great lady, and there's been so much planned. On Sunday, which is the day my video goes live, it has been estimated that there will be about 10 million people in the UK who will be attending street parties, and hubby and I are going to be going to one as well. It's not our street, but then our street is quite a through road, rather. I was trying to say see-through. And obviously it's not so easy, but one of my friends at church, they're having their road closed. They come under a different council to us, so theirs has been a lot easier to get their road closed off. Plus the fact it's a quiet, although ours is a nice quiet road, theirs is even quieter. So we're going to be going to theirs, and she's organised a best dressed table competition. So needless to say, me and hubby and my friend who's joining us are going in for that. I bought a whole pack of Jubilee things like napkins, tablecloths, bunting, everything with Union Jacks on, paper plates and paper beakers. I've also made a red, white and blue wreath, which is something I've never ever done before, but I'm really pleased with the result of it. I will show photographs of it on my blog hopefully next week, and hopefully tomorrow, it's Friday today, so hopefully tomorrow I'm going to make some red, white and blue paper flowers as well. So if I don't win, it's not because I didn't put any effort in. It's just that somebody else put more effort in. So we'll have to see how it goes. We're very lucky our arrangement as well, because the road that is being closed for ours, it's right next door to where our church is, and the church are allowing us to use the church hall if it rains. So I'm now putting the second design of the designer series paper onto the doors. By the way, both these designs for the doors and the background, they are from Heart and Home designer series paper. I have a lot of this that I'm trying to get used up, so, and these designs have worked out really well for me. So there we go. Now I'm going to do the two that you can actually see me doing. The only slightly difficult thing for us is we were requested to make enough food for ourselves and some to share, which is okay. We're very happy to share our food, no problems about that. But being celiac, I can't share other people's food unless I find somebody else who's done likewise. But hubby's going to do a gluten-free lemon drizzle cake and also some gluten-free cinnamon donuts. He is such an excellent cook, he really is. Okay, so there's those bits there. Now this one, what we need to do to get this one on, because we obviously can't put it over these corners here, so if you rest that where you know it's going to go, and then use your pencil to mark about 1/8 of an inch above the fold line there, and then about 1/8 of an inch above there. Now that triangle you may be able to use on this one down here, and then one up there and one there. Now this I do freehand. I do freehand, not do freehand. So there's that one. And that one. So don't put them off on the floor. So we're going to put those two down like that. That's good. So once you get that mechanism done, this is a very easy, straightforward card to make. I wasn't sure quite how long the video would take while I'm doing those pieces and demonstrating it, which is why I thought rather than take a chance on doing all the stamping and the die cutting as well, I did the flowers and everything before. I will show you the stamp set and everything, and all the flowers, they are those where you just stamp the flower and that is it. It's coloured, there's no extra colouring in with it to be done. So I'm guiding the top bit there first, and I've probably gone a bit higher than necessary, but never mind, I'm not going to worry about that. But what I'm going to do, these little pieces here, I'm going to see if I can fit it in there. It's going the other way round. Does that mean to say if I put it that way? Yep, that goes the right way round. Oh good, okay. So if you've got a directional pattern, if it doesn't go on one side, it probably will go on the other side. I'm just putting this little triangle down this way. And this one. In fact, I've got the pencil marks there, haven't I? I should have cut more on the pencils and it wouldn't have been so high up, but never mind, I'm really not going to worry about that. I think when somebody opens up this card, they'll notice the windows opening up and the images rather than my triangles. One hopes anyway. one's quite a bit bigger, isn't it? Shall I cut a little bit off? If you find that yours is a bit big and you don't like it bigger than the other one, just cut off along one of the straight sides, not the diagonal side. Is that? No, I should cut the diagonal side, shouldn't I? Ignore what I said. Just cut a little slither off the diagonal side. And try doing it before you got wet glue on it. It's a lot easier, trust me. That's better. Except I've got glue there now. Thank goodness for glue erasers. Now for this here, I don't know if I've... See, that is going to be at an angle. But I can live with that. I really cannot work out how to do it straight. So I'm just going to take that in about 1/8 from that straight line and about there. And then for the other one, now that's for one end, so this one is for this side. So make that there. In fact, no, I know what I'm going to do. Cut one and then use it as a template. Okay, so I've got my 2 pencil marks there. I'm just going to slice that and see if I'm close. There we go, that's fine. I'm happy with that. So put that piece on here. And there we go, cut from that one. Easy. It must be possible to cut a square, let's say about 3/4 of an inch square, and then just slice it in half diagonally so that that would fit both of them. But I wasn't able to work that one out. Okay, let's put these pieces on. Okay, that's fine. If you think this is just too much of a fiddle, you could leave these bits off. But it's, the measurements are, you know, rest a piece of paper against it and mark it with pencil and just cut. There we go. That's got pencil mark. I'm not sure whether that is, but I'll go over this once I finish my card. Oh, we haven't done the pillars. Now what did I do? I haven't cut those up, surely. Nope. Oh, here they are. Yes. And then I think we can start decorating the card. What I'll do first is I'll do the sentiments. I just want to show you again how nice our magnetic plate is. I really am so pleased with it. All I'm doing is I'm putting that to cover up the join where the mechanism went. You can still see it top and bottom, but I don't think it spoils a card at all. Just trying to guide it so that the line follows through over there and along the bottom there. So there we go, there's our card, works beautifully. Right, so let me to show you the cardstock, not the cardstock, the stamp sets that I'm using and how I'm decorating this. So the flowers that I'm using, I've stamped out that one, that one, that one and some of the leaves. This is from True Beauty. It's got a set of stamps, dies to go with it, which are called Organic Beauty. Okay, so I've used that one there, that for the little flowers, and that for the greenery, and that for the other flower as well, that one. Okay, so that's a beautiful bundle in the new catalogue, really lovely. Now to an older one, Flowering Tulips, No One Deserves a Happier Birthday Than You, one of my favourite sayings. And Blessings of Home, You Are a Real Blessing to Everyone Around You. Okay, so that is the other stamp set. Now for die cutting, I am using Stylish Shapes. Now this is a set of dies that doesn't have a matching stamp set with it, but I'm using that for my sentiments, the long narrow sentiment. And this is another one, oh it does have a stamp set but I didn't buy it, Fabulous Frames, and I'm using this. So I'm going to stamp the two sentiments. I'm going to use, what am I using? Fresh Freesia ink. So this one is from Flowering Tulips. I thought I was upside down, but it isn't. There we go. And this one is for this one. What did I say? This was Blessings of Home. Okay, you're a real blessing to everyone around you. So that's those. I need that, that and that. So I'm going to get my cut and emboss machine over. Make sure I don't collide with the tripod. Now the plates I need for this are number 3. As I said last week, I don't know why that doesn't have a number 3 on it, but never mind. And then I need number 1, which is that one. And number 5. As you can see, I've used this loads and loads and loads. I've only had it a week, but I really do lots with my die cutting machine. In fact, what I've been doing this week are my customer thank you gifts, my May customer thank you gifts. So I'm going to put that one there, and that's going in the centre like that, and you can go on there, but no, I want to turn you straighter, so we do you first. Do you that end because I don't want you to get the writing. But as you see, just pop it down. There's none of that real clip or grab sound that you get with the Sizzix. It just grabs it very quietly but very determinedly. I move that one out, bring this one back. Okay, so there's that one. I'll pop that up there. I still need that. Now this one, I love this die because you get that die cut and then you also get this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this again with the fresh freesia, and then the fresh freesia bit like this I'm going to be putting around there. This is going into my die cuts, not things that have been die cut but not used. I will find a purpose for that. Now this one I am pushing through there because I want to get this one straight, or at least more or less straight if I can. Just going to cut the end off a bit. There we go. Just make sure we're straight. Pop that on there. Just make sure that is... Ooh, that wasn't very clever, was it? Oh, come back. I'll do you in a minute. This one's more important, I think, just to get it straight. Okay, you can go back again. There we go. That's lovely. I like that. Very pleased with that. Have I got a paper piercer here somewhere? And this. Okay, so that can be saved for something. And in here somewhere we have our little frame. There we go. I don't know if you can see from there, it's got some detail on it. It's really lovely. So that can go up there. Die, die, plates. So that should be everything with my big shot list for today. There we go. So we bring this back. So first of all I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to pop that in the middle. As you know, when I'm putting things inside my cards, I don't pop them up with dimensionals. I feel that if it goes through the post, it's very likely to get warped, albeit very slightly, but even so, it's not a look that I like to go for. And as far as signing this card is concerned, I would sign it on the back. I feel that when you've got a beautiful fancy fold card, it's a shame to spoil it with handwriting inside if the handwriting is anything like mine, which is pretty close to being atrocious. There we go. Don't you think that's lovely? So easy to do, beautiful, love it. Now this one, I like to overlap these two like this. So I will put the glue on here, but not right the way down. Just make sure that this bit is straight here. I'm going to cut that in a moment. I'm going to use my I was going to say I was going to use my trimmer, but did I need to do that? I do, don't I? Yes. Yeah, I don't want to do that myself. Okay, right. Let me bring over my flowers. I'll show you what I have here. I've done a lot of greenery, which really isn't necessary. And this is all my bits that was left over from last week when I was using the adhesive sheet. I said save all your bits and pieces because they will come in handy. And I've been using them to put my other cards together. So the design on the front here, let me just anchor this down somehow, is one of these flowers, which is one of these, and one of the stems, Now if you ever do your die cut and you find that they are really way off, don't throw them away, just trim up the edges, which I can't even tell which ones I've done now, but some of them I do. Well, there's one, I think. Yeah, that one I did, that was just so bad. But what I'm going to do with that one is, on the inside, I'm going to use it because I removed that one. So what does get seen will be fine. Right, now I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. So I'm going to bring all my little bits in. There we go, there's one little bit there. That will look after part of the stem there. Oh, this is a good one. Right, I'm not worrying about going right to the end because that's going to be where the flower is, so that can go back. I want something for the leaves. That's a bit too big for my leaf, so let's cut a little bit off. You can go back, live for another day. I'm meant to be holding that down. Right, where's that one? That's going to be too big, I think. Yep. Right, I am just following the way I've done my previous card, because obviously I've worked out how to position this so that it fitted in nicely with that. Don't know if I can leave this so that you can see it, can I? No. Oh, there you can. So I'm going to pop this piece on first. By saving all these pieces, it saves having to cut up the regular dimensionals. So I'm concentrating on what I'm doing here at the moment. Like, so there's that one. Now this flower, this one I've done it underneath both of these. I didn't intend to do that, but the way I put my like dimensionals on underneath, I didn't really have a choice. So all around there really, there to there. Oh, had something else on the underneath here. So we'll have that bit. There's another bit here. I know I did 3 sides before. Let's see if I've done the right 3 sides. We need a bit. We need a bit more there. Let's have half of that. That's shot inside the card. Now that should be fine. And that should go. Let go for a minute, that's it. Right, I've got that one on. And now that my sentiment must be dry enough, so what I'm going to do is just cut it off where I need the white to be cut off. And I normally have to just trim a little bit of the purple bit. So I tilt my scissors sideways so that I cutting the underneath bit and not the top bit. Okay, so that's fine. So now this one I'm going to pop up with a nice big bit. Right, so where's my, I don't know where my paper piercer is. Right, so that is going to be about there, and it's going to go to about there. I might have to cut the point out. In fact, let's cut it a bit shorter and maybe I'll avoid that. There we go, that's good. Oh, I had quite a panic there. I thought I'd cut the wrong end off. So I'm going to make sure this comes right to the edge of the designer series paper. There we go, that's that. Let's get rid of this bit of rubbish first. It seems to be creeping in everywhere. Come on. There we go. So that's from the front. I've got one of my, this is my last bumblebee. Sad to see this go. I've really enjoyed having these. So I'm going to pop it up on a dimensional. And then I'm going to put a little, oops, little bit of Tombow here. And I'm going to make the two work together. Okay, so that's good, like that. Now on here, what I did was I put one stem and I took the flower off, the leaf off the other side, and on that one I took the leaf off that side. One of the leaves I put back there with the flower, and I just put that one over that leaf. Okay, so first of all, I said I was going to cut that one off, didn't I? So that's for the second flower. So cut that off. So that's for the second one, which is going to be going there. And these I just glue down. That's not a good one. Oh, that's right. I didn't stamp this one very well. So I thought, well, that's all right, I can cut that off, because I want to cut one side off. Like that, so that's fine. And that one's going to be coming over here. I'm going to do this one first because that one I had to cut a bit shorter. So that's about halfway there, and it's going up that sort of direction. And one of the flowers, I'm not really fussed which way this goes, I don't think. But I'm just going to pop it on top of the leaf, like that. And this one. Now I decided to bring that down, didn't I? I wonder how much I cut off. Not sure. But I'm going to cut off, is that about 3/8 of an inch, I suppose. And I'm going to put this so that it joins up with the base of the other stem. Like this. And bring it laying round. So then I can have another flower. I'll try and lay them in different angles so that they look different, or even though they are the same flowers. Yep, that would look good. Overlapped it slightly with my leaf. And that leaf I didn't want to use, this one I did. So that's okay. I'm going to pop that there, and I'm going to put one of the little flowers on it. And one of these little ones. This little one, in the set of dies you do get 2 of them, which is always very handy. Quite often when I'm doing my customer thank you cards, I often think to myself, if only I had 2 sets of dies. And then I put another flower on there. Okay, now for the inside of this I use these really flat butterflies, which are absolutely brilliant for adding something onto the inside of cards. So I'm going to take 2 of the larger butterflies. Obviously you need to get some more. And we'll have one of the little ones up here as well. So there we go, there's today's card. Don't you think that is absolutely fabulous? Really is superb. And I have to say I prefer it at 5 3/4 inches rather than 6, but hey ho, we don't worry too much about these things, do we? Where's my other one? This one. So that's 3 cards for you with this design. I hope you like it. I really hope you give it a try. I will list the ingredients for this card in the box below, together with the inches and metric for A4 cardstock users, and hopefully inches for letter size cardstock users as well. And I will explain the ingredients I've used for this on my blog the same day it goes live, which will be the 3rd, 4th. It was Friday today, isn't it? So we are the 3rd, 4th, 5th. So it's got to be the 5th. Yeah, that's right. And if you would like to purchase any of the products that I've used, by where they're listed in the box below, there will be a code which will take you straight to my online Stampin' Up shop. If you shop with me, I really appreciate your business. But if you would use the hostess code, as long as your order is less than £150 or €175, and then I can send you some free product when I send you your happy mail at the beginning of July. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe by clicking in the bottom right hand corner there, or when the video stops, my picture will appear somewhere, and that's a subscribe button as well. And click the bell so that you do get notified each time I upload a new one. Many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe, and of course, happy crafting. Cheerio.